Folks, I told her that she's going to have to do the heavy lifting on this one, but we'll see how she manages to deal with my sweaty, sick ass right now. By the way, and also, I feel very bad for her up top because I think somebody got married this weekend that is going to outshine her wedding, which I just got to save the date for this past week, which is very exciting. We'll talk all about this in this next hour. The one, the only, where you were...
the royal wedding.
Were you at Nick Vialli's wedding?
Nick Vialli's, unfortunately, no. And we accidentally scheduled our flight for an airport 2 hours away, and it was at 6 a.m. So
why would you do that after a wedding? Because did you like drink at the wedding?
Because we're dumb, and the destination was kind of expensive and hard to get to, and we ended up leaving straight from the reception to go to the airport. At basically midnight. Yeah. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But like, I'm your baby. But yeah, that's why my voice is a little raspy. I just woke up from a 4 or 5 hour nap. So
that's amazing.
At least there's that. And Ryan.
No, you look, I mean, you look fine. I mean, I look like death warmed up. I will say, I think I've lost a couple of pounds from just like sweating my ass off from being sick the last couple of days.
Oh God.
But yeah, it's been a miserable couple of days. So.
And how was your birthday?
I mean, listen, I was sick on my birthday, but it was great. I mean, like, went to Central Park, rode the carousel, which was lovely. I wanted to like went to see Enemy of the People with Jeremy Strong, the play from Succession.
Oh, how was it?
Loved it. But I'm like a huge theater nerd. My dad loved it. We all loved it. It was awesome. And the only thing that sucked was that, like, when you're sick and you start getting sicker and you're like, oh, I'm sick. Like, that was the only thing. Yeah. So you're like, oh, and then you're like, oh, you fool yourself into thinking if I get a good night's rest, I can knock this out. And it just didn't happen. And then ever since Thursday night, like, I was delirious. I had a fever of like at the highest was 103.2. And I was like delusional. I thought I was a wizard at one point.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's high. That's pretty high.
It was really high. No, it was insane. And then it was really wild. And it was one of those fevers that it doesn't even let you sleep. So I watched,
oh God,
I watched 7 hours of this O.J. Simpson documentary on Netflix, Made in America, which I've talked about before. Yeah. I decided to turn that on, and I just watched the entire thing in one sitting, one laying down.
And haven't you already watched that?
Oh yeah, years ago. And it's really not the thing to choose to watch if you're sick. Like, it was, but I was so sick that I was like, when you're so sick, you don't want to move and your body aches. So you're like, you don't even want to like turn to shut it off. Like, Netflix kept playing the new episode and I kept not falling asleep. And then all of a sudden, OJ's out of jail.
One thing leads to another.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't know how much sense I'm making, but here's the deal. Let's get into this. I brought up your wedding because I'm not as up on pop culture this weekend because I've not been on my phone nearly as much as I usually am. But from what I can tell, this Nick Viall, the podcast god, got married this weekend, and it looked like there was a couple. It looked like it was a destination wedding. And I'm just going to ask you, and just please tell me yes. Is one of the nights at your wedding going to be a Western theme?
The whole weekend is a Western theme.
Fuck yes. Cause I was like, I have a bolo tie. I have a Yellowstone hat. I was picturing, I have like rhinestone jewelries.
It's so funny also because they spelled y'all wrong on their like sign. It was like, howdy y'all, welcome to Nick and Natalie's wedding. We're getting hitched. And the y'all had the apostrophe like after the A.
I was so out of it that I thought they got married at Stagecoach because Stagecoach Music Festival's this weekend, the Country Music Festival. And I was so out of it that I was like, wait a sec, did they get married at Stagecoach? And then I was like,
something that they did. Do.
Well, and by the way, you guys, I'm not like, I make fun of a lot of things, including myself. Listen, weddings are a beautiful thing. I'm not ripping on the wedding. I did think Nick in a cowboy hat, like, I don't know Nick well enough. Like, is he a Western guy? Like, I don't know him.
No, he's from Wisconsin and lives in LA. No.
Okay, all I saw was a picture of him in the 10-gallon hat and the thing. And I was like, oh, he's a Western guy.
I didn't know that. He was like cosplaying. Cosplaying.
But I will say, and the thing is, his wife, Natalie, just gave birth a couple of months ago, and she looked great for just.
Yeah, she
and
looked
also
amazing.
Why would you plan a wedding that quickly after you gave birth? Like, kudos to her.
I know. I think what it was, and I don't listen to the Viall Files, believe it or not, but I guess Viall Files that like they wanted to, just because they have family members that are older, they wanted to just like get a move on it, which is understandable. And she's from Georgia.
So it's her family's ranch.
I think it was her family's like ranch, like near Savannah. I don't know.
Well, it was star-studded.
For someone whose arch nemesis is literally Nick Vialli, I've done a lot of reconnaissance and research on this wedding, if you can't tell.
No, listen, I figured I was so excited to talk about this with you. I like Nick because he takes himself so seriously. And I like Maritza will send me clips, or a couple of people will send me clips, and it's always the seriousness in which he takes himself. Because I'll be like, wait a sec, I make the same exact points. I just don't sit there like brooding the entire time of like,
and thinking that you're literally God's gift to earth.
Well, that's the thing that I find very funny. But at the same time, it works. Very successful. So congratulations on the wedding.
Do you think that you are God's gift to women?
I'm not God's gift to like any gender. Like I'm not God. I'm barely God. I'm not God's gift at all.
Wait, what about this selfie? So my favorite thing is like tracking the like DILF selfies that Nick takes with his daughter, who's only like almost 3 months, maybe. Yeah. And in this one,
ooh,
sorry, you can see the reflection of my ring light, but you can see basically, oh, what am I doing? You can see the reflection of his ring light in the background of the picture. He has his baby staring at a ring light. His 8-week-old baby.
That's so funny. But you know what I will say? I want to be completely honest. I think like, and I don't think this is, but I'm not a hate. Like, I think Nick Viall, a very attractive guy. I think he is extremely attractive. I do. Sophie's giving me a look.
Maybe like on Andy's season of The Bachelorette. Like like his eyebrows now are at like the Brittany Cartwright arch. Like he's gotten a little. We got
to talk about Brittany too in this hour.
Yeah. We need to talk about that.
But anyways, it was star-studded. Katie Maloney and Dayna Kathan were there from Vanderpump Rules. Remy Bader, I think, TikTok influencer, was there. There was a bunch of like kind of random celebrity. Teffy was there. Victoria Fuller
was there without Sans Greg because they recently broke up. I think she was maid of honor. So yeah.
Ashley Ianakata from the Bachelor franchise.
The stars were out.
But I'm sure this is a load off for Nick. The big day is done. He can get back to ruling the podcast charts. But congratulations. The other big thing that happened over the weekend, one of the big things, so many big things, this will lead us into the Valley and Vanderpump Rules, was that the White House Correspondents' Dinner happened this weekend. They do this every year where all of, the correspondents, all these different news outlets come together, and it's kind of like a half roast of political events, half honoring. And there's always like a weird hodgepodge of celebrities from the outside world that get invited. Last year was really exciting because Ariana got invited. Lisa Vanderpump was there, and they were riding that Sandoval wave, that initial. And so it was like, wow, good for Ariana. This year, like, no offense, but it felt like to go from Ariana to Jax and Brittany, what a come down. Like, no offense, like, but what a come down, honestly. Was that shocking to you?
Yes. Like, are they just inviting like the Bravo Leb of the day? Like, what?
Well, but is Jax and Brittany the Bravo Leb of the day?
I mean,
like, no, Dr. Wendy from Potomac was there as well, and I wouldn't call her the Bravo Leb of the day either.
Well, she also is kind of like politically adjacent because she's kind of a commentator. I feel like with Jax and Brittany, like I don't know. Like, I guess they're more relevant than they were a year ago because of the Valley, but like other than that, like,
well, here's my theory is so we didn't get to talk about this last week. So the whole thing blew up. We still don't have the full story, with Jax and Britney's publicist, Lori K.
Yes.
Lori K. publicist. Okay, so Lori K. represents Jax and Britney plus a lot of other reality contestants, reality stars. Lori K. has a full docket of reality stars, has been with Jax forever, picked up Britney as a client as well. There's always been jokes and Reddit threads that like, I don't trust this relationship. It's weird, but whatever. There's so many rumors out there about Jax. It's like, pick one, believe it if you want. But then Britney unfollowed Jax and Lori K. because Lori K. was with Jax and her other client Tom Schwartz in Canada for an opening of something. Sandoval was there as well. So she like unfollows and I think blocks both of them. Then Jax retaliates and blocks Britney. And then as of today or as of yesterday, Jax has unfollowed Lori K. and has removed Lori K. from his bio in terms of his PR person. But here's the thing too. The PR person is usually the person that would get you invited to the correspondence dinner. The PR person would be the person that would get you on that list. I don't think conspiracy here, you guys, but something is funky.
She
something
went out
is
swinging.
Really...
She went out swinging. Like,
but
she was like, oh, you know what I can do for you?
Yeah. Brittany, don't hit me. Don't hit me, Brittany. I'll get you in the... Okay, I'll do it, but don't.
Oh my God.
But anyway, isn't that weird though? Or do you think it's
that
something...
there's something afoot for sure. There's something afoot. And I totally believe that Jax and Lori K hooked up. Like,
but she has a family. She has like a husband, kids. Would you ruin it all for Jax Taylor? Would you ruin, like, honestly, he's a good looking guy, but would you ruin it all? Would you ruin your family for Jax Taylor?
No.
Yeah, by the way, I was going to give Sophie like 10 seconds to think about it. She answered immediately. She's like, no, absolutely not.
No.
But like,
but they've looked cuddly before in photos.
Yes, that was like, but Brittany was like, oh, that's ridiculous. We know, she's a friend.
She's like family.
She's like family. So I am so curious, but also part of me is like, everything, it is so weird. And I don't think they split up because to promote the Valley, but I think everything is like so one and the same. Like it's so like, no matter how you cut it, they have monetized their own personal growth or like personal destruction. So like, if you sign up for a reality show, you're really signing up to ruin your relationships and your family in a lot of ways. Like, so I hope Jax and Brittany, I hope this has all been worth it. I will say Brittany seems very strong, like, but also it just seems like
you think they're doing it for the bit.
No, like, I don't think they're doing it for the bit, but I do think Brittany really wants this. And I don't mean I don't mean Jax. I mean, I think she really, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to be a TV star. There really isn't.
Wanting the limelight. Yeah.
But I don't even think she wants the limelight. I just think she wants to be a part of it all. And I think when she was a part of it for a couple of years and it got taken away because of her husband, I think that really hurt. And I think this is like a chance for her. And but it is one of those things. And I think since she does have the limelight, she's not potentially hurting as much, like, or even publicly, because she has kind of this show. And by the way, the Valley's excellent. You like the Valley as much as I do. You like it more than Vanderpump,
I love
right?
the Valley. I love the Valley, unfortunately.
This is the first week that I enjoyed the Valley way more than Vanderpump Rules.
Also,
I know you said that from the beginning.
I was like so when I'm like doing my makeup for this podcast or like touching up a little bit, I'm like, okay, what are the things that we're going to like talk about? And I'm like, I do not fucking remember what happened on Vanderpump Rules because it's been so boring. Like I'll be like looking at my phone and I don't even realize that I'm like not paying attention because it's that. Let's get the season over. Let's get it over with already. Let's go. Right. But the Valley. Valley.
It's a perfect mix of like,
the Valley
characters that we know, new characters that we don't know that are like horrible, like Jesse and Michelle Lally.
Yeah, Jesse is awful. Michelle also awful.
Yeah,
Kristen. I mean, awful too, but in a way that we love, in an endearing way.
No, yeah, like everybody, and you got Luke, the fish out of water, who's just like a horn dog. He's like, when can we get back to fucking? Like, you don't need any of these people.
He's always like red and like wishing he was like fishing.
By the way, if I was hanging out with Jax Taylor, I probably wish I was fishing as well. The big revelation, and I like just from a humorous point of view, the biggest thing that I can't, even when I was at my sickest, I just kept thinking about Jax Taylor going into the garage with a spray paint can and spraying his bald spot. I was like, that is so perfect. Like that is so perfect. And I did not believe the bald spot. I thought he was just lying for the money. And then I looked up Jax Taylor bald spot, and he does have a bald spot. Did you look it up?
I already knew he had one. I knew he had one. I knew.
Like you just knew it, like in your soul. You just like felt it
in my heart. Like
you knew.
The fact that he's been like balding a little bit is like, I mean, it's been satisfying to watch. Like if you've been paying attention, like I have.
But he has such a full frontal. It's in the back where you don't think it's going to be.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what.
But I love that he gives Britney a hard time, and then he goes into the garage and he's using like a spray paint can on his head. Like, how could you ever give Britney a hard time about anything? Even though I will say, try to count how many times Britney takes a shot in the background of scenes on the Valley. She'll like throw down shots in the background.
It's like not okay. It's like,
well, and remember, Maritza was pointing out, like, remember in Vanderpump Rules when her doctor was like, told her not to stop drinking?
Yes,
it like, affected her.
Couldn't stop drinking. Yeah. She had like a hole in her stomach from like drinking tequila too much and like literally wouldn't stop.
I want to see her at the White House. I didn't get a look at any of their stories last night. Was Britney throwing down shots at the White House correspondent?
Obviously.
Her with Biden. He's like, rot in hell, Biden.
Rot in hell.
Rot in hell.
But yeah, there's something like at first I was on Britney's side with you want another kid? Acts like a mom. Like with that, like not good. I was on Britney's side. But I will say
switched?
I mean, I'm not on Jax's side, but I can understand more. Hate that I'm saying this. Can't believe I'm saying this. I understand where Jax is coming from because her drinking is definitely like, it's a lot. Like it's a lot. It's a lot.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
But I totally agree with what you're saying. And I think you're probably correct in terms of, but the thing is, and it's like a battle of like two evils, is that like Jax is doing the same behavior, but since he's the man, it's okay for him to do it. Since he's the papa, he's the father, the daddy. I mean, so the mommy has to take care of everything at home. Like, I feel like it's bullshit gender rules that we still fall into. Like, listen, none of them are like, it seems like great. But the fact that he's trying to make her feel guilty when his behavior is, I mean, he's riding a golf cart around like Sherman Oaks, like cranked up on sugar-free Red Bulls. And like whatever, like spray paint in his hair.
That's fair. That's fair. But I feel like we've seen more of Britney actually getting like belligerently drunk, apparently. And we've heard more anecdotes. But again, it's like that might be because she's a woman.
Well, and the anecdotes we hear about Jax is like he's fucking his PR agent.
I know. Why am I acting like Jax is like.
No, but I get what you're saying because I will say I do even like the little. The handful of scenes that we've had so far in the Valley, it is funny. Like I do catch her ripping shots a lot in the background. And I think, listen, I love that. Like I want to, I want to be in my 20s forever, live forever. Yeah. And you could tell she's like so used to be like cooped up in a house with Jax. The other thing about the Valley, I found it like sad and funny.
Can you blame her? Like,
no, like, but it's sad and funny that like when she goes into the Jax's saloon, I just love, she's like, I got so many thoughts, who do I email my thoughts to? And Jax is like all quiet. And you just get such a sense of what the relationship is. And then they sit to have a scene where she's like, you got to romance me. And you can tell Jax, like, I truly didn't really ever give credence to the theory that people go on these shows on purpose to get divorced. But I'm starting to believe in that theory fully, and that Jax Taylor fully signed up for this. A, to get back on top, and B, to get divorced. Like he wants it.
He's pulling a Kelsey Grammer. Where
oh my God, like brilliant.
Her up.
Yes. I didn't even, oh God, I'm so dumb. You're right. He's pulling a Kelsey Grammer, but at the same time, he doesn't have that NBC Frasier money. He just has old Vanderpump Rules, and they don't get residuals. So he's going to get back. Like, just imagine next season of The Valley, which they're going to announce a season 2 pickup any day. You're going to have Jesse and Michelle Lally no longer a couple because Michelle Lally is dating somebody else, confirmed now. Jax and Britney that's the other thing too. Sophie, if you are Like Jax does not seem to be trying to fight to get her back at all. He's
No.
like, get out of my house. Take our son with. I don't care. We can co-parent.
Over it. He's over it.
Oh, he doesn't like, so it does. But at the same time, would you be able to do a White House Correspondents' Dinner red carpet with your ex? Like, would you? And it's so fresh that I feel Brittany is being like, I don't want to keep using the word gaslit, but like, is she being like talked into that this is normal and this is okay? And she's just hoping that he'll come around, or is she over it too? And they just both want out.
That's a good question, actually. I feel like they both, like you said, they both want to be TV stars. So it's like they're kind of doing what they have to do. I don't know. I feel like she sounds like, from the 75 TMZ interview she's given, that she's kind of over it a little bit, at least, where she's like, there's only so much I can take. How much can I take? Like, I feel like she's maybe coming to terms with the fact that she deserves better, which she does.
She does. She does.
So I think maybe they're both in the acceptance phase. I don't know. Like, I really don't know. It's such a weird fucking dynamic.
I've said this before. When I went to Jax's Saloon a couple weeks ago, I saw Brittany in person, and she is so pretty in person. Like, I'm not joking. Like, because I will say, like, I feel like they caught her on the Valley in between some weird facial surgery stuff.
Yeah, she had just gotten her chin lipo.
Yeah, but it gave her this permanent like downward grin.
Which, by the way, chin lipo has been, ever since I got my like engagement photos back. We did a little photo shoot. I'm like,
Sophie, you have no fucking chin. What are you talking about? You have no fat in your chin at all.
It's funny. I talked to one of my girlfriends who also saw her engagement photos and literally did get chin lipo from her engagement photos. So I can imagine if you're on TV, like, and if you're seeing yourself like candid all the time.
Oh, I would.
Oh my God. I get it. Like, I get it. But her upside down mouth, which I guess was a side effect of the chin lipo and isn't as upside down today.
No, it looks great. Well, they have two talking heads for like all the Valley people. One, I think, from the very beginning, and Brittany like has like the downward thing and like it look, but then there's one where it's like it's still messed up, but then it's all pulled back and like the eyebrows are all.
It and still doesn't look like.
It feels like they rushed. Like, it feels like they were trying to get this on the air as quickly as possible. Yeah. And so like, it's one of those things that I don't think they even expected to be filming. So like the first episode, Brittany has her whole face wrapped up in a gauze, which is like, that was like the first thing of her coming down with her face wrapped up in gauze. Anyways, it's a great show, but at the same time, there's so much pain. Like, it's not like it's like this fun jaunt that's why it's so much better than Vanderpump Rules. It's just that, I don't know. It's just like, it's like new and interesting. It's a shiny new toy.
Henry, actually, my fiance, decided that he hates watching The Valley because it's all like old married couples that are miserable. Not old.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't watch this leading up to the wedding. No.
Yeah, they're miserable. And he's like, why do we have to watch this? Like, they're all like,
Henry. See, Henry has the right idea, dude. That's a real man. That's a man of saying like, hey, we don't have to be like this. And in fact, I think this is not good to even put this in our heads.
Yeah. Like, I feel like I'm detached enough where I'm like, hey, I can enjoy it. And he's like, this is terrifying that this is like what marriage can be.
What do you think about Janet and Jason? Janet Caperna and Jason Caperna.
Wait. Janet and Jason.
Janet.
I like Jason. Janet, I'm like, she seems
it's interesting how they're positioning her, or how the doty Janet of it. Like, that's the other thing exciting about this. Like, knowing them from before and knowing them now, like, it's like fun to see the TV show dynamics play out, and they are positioned against each other. And it is wild because I think people underestimate Doty. I think people underestimate how much the audience wants to see mess. Because you would be like, well, this is crazy. Like, this is, and there's like, yeah, man, it's a really weird thing to watch. And I'm curious if at the end of the season, we're going to have a full showdown between Janet and Doty.
Janet definitely seems like not a puppet master, but she's like pulling some strings.
No, I've called her like I know her in real because I feel like she's an operator. She's somebody, and I meant that as when I first said it, like when the show first started. She connects people with people. Like she's always been really nice. I mean, but I will say, I think she also has a ton of information about everybody. And that's why I think she's great on the show, because in seasons from now, she knows what all of those Vanderpumpers have done to each other. She knows shit that we don't know. She knows shit like, I mean, it's really, really wild. So I think it's just great casting. The Jesse and Michelle Lally, like the fact that we already got a fight in episode 6, that this Jesse Lally was pushing everybody. Zach almost, his wig almost flew off.
That was actually like, I mean, it was amazing, but it was also like scary.
It was
like,
very scary. He just saw red. He was just going for Luke, and he would push Brittany out of the way.
Girls and gays, like
girls and gays.
God,
yes.
That was not good. I mean,
no, it's not good.
It was good to watch, but like concerning.
Yeah, very concerning. But yeah, Vanderpump Rules.
Did we ever find out who the director is? Because I was reading online that like maybe it's Quentin Tarantino.
I was reading that too. I was reading Michael Bay. Then on, I think Watch What Happens Live, I think Janet actually said she was representing that person. She doesn't think actually anything went down. We also found out in this episode of The Valley, though, she did have a boy. Kristen lets it out at the very end. The thing she was trying to protect was that she did have a boyfriend a year ago, which is so amazingly hysterical that Dodie's like, the thing that she's protecting her friend from, she like reveals in a talking head at the very end of the episode. It's brilliant. That she had a boyfriend a year ago, but it's like, yeah, no shit she did. She like, we found out the episode before she got an apartment and Jesse Lally talked her out of it. Also, Jesse, if you're listening, dude, you don't like her at all either. Like you don't get points in heaven for staying in your marriage unless you do. And then I'm totally fucked. But like, you don't get points for being miserable. And also your daughter's going to know you're miserable. Your daughter already picks up on it now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's kind of like the darkest part of The Valley is that there are like kids involved and they're just like such dark marriages and partnerships. It's dark, but it's fun at the same time, you know?
It's dark, but
it doesn't make sense. It doesn't seem like it would work, but it does.
It does. Vanderpump Rules, it was like you said, it was like I thought this week was the season finale because I was told a 14-episode season. Wow. And then at the very end, they didn't give us next week on the season finale. So because I know they go to San Francisco, so I'm guessing they put San Francisco into 2 episodes.
I can't believe that it's about to be the season finale when I feel like literally nothing happened. Like what happened? And I know this might.
What else is gonna happen besides Sandoval?
Well, right, but like, I know that's probably recency bias. Like we just had like the greatest like scandal and most entertaining season because of it. But like. I don't know. I feel like literally like what happened besides Lala's water tasting and like everyone like.
I like that you said Lala's water tasting. She also is getting inseminated. We had the sperm party.
her sperm.
I like that you put the water party above the sperm party. Like you're like the water party. Well,
I just couldn't believe I was watching a water tasting on Vanderpump Rules.
You had the Scheana nanny situation. You had Tori, the former nanny of Scheana's and Scheana's friend, have a love triangle with Katie and Schwartz, which is weird. You had the Joe, my gosh, Kaylee Joe.
That's true. There was Joseph. Joe was definitely a highlight. Joe
is sorely missed.
She is.
They should do a Joe funeral like they did Dog the Lizard.
They should do a Bet It All on Barassi Blonde.
By the way, I'm in New York and the billboards are everywhere. Joe is taking over for Ariana in Chicago. It's just Joe in Chicago, the musical.
The name on everybody's lips is gonna be Joseph.
By the way, that's what I'm saying. Vanderpump is like, it's the victim of its own success. So I said this at the beginning of the season. They just need to get this season out of the way so they can get back to normal. And find out what the show is going to be at this point, because I don't even think the cast knows. I think that's why Lala is like swung so wildly, and I think potentially wrongly. I think she keeps thinking she was like shooting the right way, and unless something happens in these last 2 episodes that completely changes everything I feel about this season, I feel like Lala was so dead ass wrong.
Yeah, she
then
was.
It would be wild. And I don't think she needed to do it. If she was even trying to save the show didn't need to be saved. It was going to be what it was regardless.
It would be way more successful of a season if they had been going after, spending that energy that they were spending on Ariana, going after Sandoval.
Exactly.
That would have been satisfying. Watching Lala, like that was the most entertaining episode of the season, actually, was when Lala bitched out, called him a groomer on the boat. And yeah, where was that energy? Like at all after that? It was only Ariana, and I'm like excited to see how it all apparently comes to a head at the reunion.
I am excited for the reunion. I think that's actually, I'm really looking forward to that. I also found it interesting that this episode we're getting so much of Brock's backstory. Like it's been like Brock, like I was raised next to a pig farmer. Like we're getting so much Brock backstory that I was like, this is hysterical. Also, I wanted to point out what I think is great, and unfortunately we can't talk about, or Lala can't talk about on the show but this came out on Friday. Lala's ex, Randall Emmett, I don't know if we remember him, directed a new John Travolta film under a pseudonym. So Randall he's not only producing shitty films, he's continuing to direct them, but he's not directing them under his name. He has a pseudonym, and his pseudonym is just Ives, Ives. So it's like Madonna, but it's like Ives.
Like the scrub.
Yeah. But also, what a way to like go under the radar. Like, just like you could have gone John Smith. He's like Ives. Like that draws more attention. Like who the fuck asshole is this? It's Ives.
Or Zendaya.
Ives.
But it's funny because like at first you're like, oh my God, he just like loves his craft so much. Like he loves his craft. Like even though he's canceled by Hollywood, he just can't stay out of the writer's room and like the director's chair. It's just what he was born to do. But you know that he is just taking it as an opportunity to like scam another like John Travolta. I mean, I don't know. Is he still
John Travolta's like, it's so weird, Sandy. Oh, Ives, what's up, Randall? It's me, John Travolta. A wop bop loo bop, a wop bam boom. Randall, what are you doing here? Yeah, no, it's so bizarre. Ives. Like what a way, like if I literally said the director of this film was Ives, I would be like, and what's their last name? They were like, no, that's the whole name. And then I'd be like, oh, what is this guy hiding? And then it's like, oh, it's Randall Emmett. And then you just gave me another thought. What if Randall Emmett, everybody's saying Lala wants to get on the Valley? Let's put Randall Emmett on the Valley. He's got 2 kids, 3 if you count Ocean, right? Put Randall on the Valley because you have the Randall Jax falling out. So season 2, Randall's like, Randall calls in Jax for an audition, but Jax only knows the director's name is Ives, and Jax is like, "What's up? I'm here for an audition." And it's Randall. He's like, "What's up, Jax?" He's like, "I'm looking for Ives, not you." And he goes, "I am Ives." And then they rekindle their friendship. I could see that happening.
I think you're onto something, actually. Like that could be really good, actually.
Well, Randall also seems kind of thirsty in the sense that he wants reality TV as well. Like he always said, like he was doing it to support Lala.
Yeah,
but I think he loved it
for it. He was like a serious like Hollywood producer. Like he couldn't stoop that low.
Everybody says they're too good for it until they get on it, and then they can't. Then they want to stay on it.
And then
they want to like
quit. What is it about? Yeah, it's like they yeah, exactly.
So yeah, Randall Emmett for season 2 of the Valley. Also,
wait, do you think that Lala and Scheana, like, do you actually think that they're gonna end up like they both recently moved to the Valley, and it seems like the Valley is like the the new thing. Like,
I don't think they're going to be on the. I think there's going to be a lot of crossover episodes.
Cross-pollination.
I do think. I don't think it's even naturally thought out in their heads as much, but I do have a feeling once you have a TV show and then you have 2 TV shows, like I bet Lala is calling Brittany to hang out more than she has in the past.
That's so true.
Like even if she's not even like realizing it, I just think I don't know. It's just a thought, but I don't think the Valley needs Lala or Scheana right now.
No,
I just don't think they do. I think it would like, I think maybe eventually, sure. Like you could literally put anybody on the Valley, but I like who they have right now. Like, make it with what they have. You don't need to like mess with that at all.
Like even Zach and Jasmine, who are so random, like it still works.
No, totally. And I know a lot of people aren't even watching The Valley yet, so you're probably tired of us talking about it, but I just get on board. It's really interesting to watch. Also, more information about Randall Emmett. Go read Amy Kinnaman's reporting in the Los Angeles Times over the last couple of years. I highly recommend her work in regards to Randall Emmett. Just really, really good stuff. Okay, in other news, Britney Spears, she is finally free of her legal entanglements with her father. Unfortunately, she has to still foot the bill for $2 million or for her dad, Jamie Spears. Like, she will not have to deal with legal proceedings anymore in terms of the conservatorship. But for some reason, her lawyer was not able to get Jamie to pay her back. So Britney had to foot her own bill to get herself free and had to pay for her father's bill as well for lawyers for this whole battle, which is so messed up.
It's such bullshit.
It's really, really insane. But her lawyer, Matthew Rosengart, said, Britney is finally free. The work we've done, was able to have her book come out. She was able to have a hit single with Elton John. She, all of these things. But I can only imagine this will set Britney off again. I think she's already made a couple of statements about this. I think it's just one of those things, like, how will you ever trust people again? I mean, just when you're family, it's just really, really brutal. So shout out Britney. Everybody loves you.
Shout out Britney.
Shout out Britney.
When I find you. Oh my God.
Oh, this is actually a big week for you though, actually, Sophie. And I find it interesting because Henry doesn't want you to watch The Valley. But Henry should also just take away everything from you right now, because Joe Burrow is single again from the Cincinnati Bengals. Is that true?
He is? What do you mean?
What? Whoa. Wait, what? I swear to God, I think it was like Dumois.
It wasn't just on Dumois.
Wait, whoa, do you hear Sophie typing? Yeah. I've never heard her type so furiously.
Oh my God. Wait, guys, I
just saw Joe Burrow relationship troubles. I swear to God, unless I was.
Oh, apparently they talk about it a lot on Wives of NFL Reddit. So I'm going to have to do my research.
Wives of NFL Reddit. Oh, wait,
okay, believe it or not, though. Believe it or not, I actually like him and his girlfriend together. I know that's done. Like crazy.
Oh, yeah, here's Dumois. Joe Burrow, single and mingling. And it takes us to this post from April 26th. An exclusive source shared the following with Dumois regarding Joe and Olivia. The source stated, I have a close friend who works as an influencer. Her best friend's friend has been hooking up with Joe Burrow and spent time with Joe and Nick Bosa in Florida. She confirmed Joe and his girlfriend have been broken up for a few months. I don't know who that Bosa people are. But
that makes me sad. I almost don't want to believe that.
You don't. Well, don't. It's just a blind eye. It's just don't believe it. You don't need to believe it.
Okay, thank you. And also, it mostly pisses me off because if he's hooking up with anyone, that's not his girlfriend.
How dare you? How dare you? Somebody's got to look out for Henry. This is ridiculous. I saw that, but I figured you'd be so up on that already. That's wild. Okay.
I had no idea. Oh my God. Believe it or not, the Bengals subreddit, actually. They don't give a fuck.
Mess.
They don't give a fuck about Joe Burrow's relationship status. They care about his stats.
Just dribble that ball, Burrow.
Exactly.
Just dribble that basketball, Burrow. Okay, so this weekend, it was 2 weekends of Coachella, and then directly in Indio, the week after always, they have Stagecoach, which is the country music festival thrown by Golden Voice, the same promoters as Coachella. And it always cracked me up because I would always go to Coachella, and then my friends would go to Stagecoach, and they would send me pictures, and they would have the same weird Coachella art installations, but then you would just see cowboys hanging out on them, it would just be very funny. But now it's a huge thing. Like I've always said, pop country and country music in general is not my type of music, but I love fandom. I love concerts. I hope everybody had a great old time there. It's another kind of influencer event. It seems like it's kind of also hedging more towards not just country, but there was like Post Malone headlined one night, but he was doing country music. DJ James Kennedy played. DJ James Kennedy spun in Diplo's Honky Tonk tent. Yes. No, but also DJ James Kennedy didn't play at Coachella. He played at Neon Carnival, which is the after party that Brett Bolthouse throws. So it's not like DJ James Kennedy will eventually get to Coachella, and now he has a good relationship. But Stagecoach, he actually played in Stagecoach. So one step closer. But the big thing that I bring this up because all weekend there had been this rumor that Beyonce was going to do a surprise set at Stagecoach. And it was very funny. All these people were doing all this detective work because they kept like flying Cowboy Carter banners over Stagecoach and even during Coachella. And they thought it was perfect because, you know, country album or like all of this talk, like Beyonce's performing, Post Malone's there. Maybe she'll do a duet with Post Malone. It would make a lot of sense. Everybody thought it was going to happen. Post Malone's set came and went last night. No Beyonce. Everybody was fooled. But I love the speculation. And there were so many Beyonce fans literally going, God, they were like watching the Stagecoach live stream. They're like, what is this shit? Like, they don't realize like this, like country music is very different than even Beyonce's album. Like Beyonce's album like has country elements and I can see where it's going from. Like, I don't consider that a country album, but I love the aesthetic of it. I consider it a Beyonce album, but it was funny. I was watching all these TikToks of her fans going like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is going on? But yeah, no Beyonce at Stagecoach.
I feel like people like will try to manifest things like that by like starting rumors that it's happening. And I think now, speaking of Joe Burrow, I think that that's what people are doing. They're trying to manifest Joe Burrow breaking up with his girlfriend, and same with Beyonce showing up at Stagecoach. Like,
by the way, for the next 15 minutes for the rest of the show, Sophie will nonstop in her head just be thinking Joe Burrow thoughts, and I will bring up other news stories, and she'll be like, you know, that's interesting about Lindsay from Summer House. It reminds me of Joe Burrow a couple of years ago, the great Joe Burrow one.
Oh my God.
Said, agree though. No, there was one time. No, I was like that with Daft Punk. This Daft Punk, like a great French DJ duo. You guys know Daft Punk.
Yeah.
But every year at Coachella, me and my buddy Nick, we would just be like, they're coming out. They're surprising us. They're good at, because they did like a surprise one year where they showed like the quick video for Get Lucky before it got released. Like, and all of a sudden, like lights went dark at Coachella, and all of a sudden we hear like this Daft Punk stuff. And me and Nick were just running like the fastest I've ever run in my life to get to the tent. And we thought they were like playing, and it was just like this like 1 minute video, but it was so exciting. And they were like, they're playing this weekend. They're playing this weekend. So every year we would joke like Daft Punk's coming out. And then they ended up breaking up. But then it was so funny. Arcade Fire headlined, I think the next year on a Sunday night. And they started off their set with Daft Punk coming out and playing Daft. And then, but like we were all so fucked up. We were like, Daft Punk. And then obviously it was a joke. It was just two random guys dressed as robots. But that's the thing with Daft Punk, you wouldn't even know. Like you didn't have to retire. Just like sell it to sell the robot costumes.
There. Yeah.
They just put play on the like CD and go. Like,
yeah.
But it was so exciting in that moment.
Just play on a laptop.
Yes, exactly.
Remember
just push your buttons.
Yeah.
Pumptini.
Pumptini Cosmopolitan.
Oh, that was it. That's what happened this week. Jax and Katie getting into it. Jax was back. Jax was like angry at Katie Maloney.
Yeah.
Because of the rumors about cheating.
Yeah.
But how far we've come where Jax has to kiss DJ James Kennedy's ass now. Like, it's so funny. And like the women are always making these great points, and the men are always just like they forgive each other so easily. It's like almost we just accept that we're pieces of shit. And they were like, yeah, I don't know. It's all good. Anyways, what did you think of Summer?
Yeah. It's funny how fast they get over things compared to women.
Oh, it's scary. Like I even shocked. I'm like, wait, why are you in the same episode hugging Tom Sandoval? What did you think of Summer House this week? Especially the last scene between Carl and his stepdad.
Oh, see,
that was really weird.
I feel like, and I'm not the only one here, that kind of like turned a lot of people on Carl, because it seems like he's talking about his relationship issues with everyone but Lindsay.
But Lindsay, yeah.
And it seemed like he was, and it's funny because someone posted like this clip on one of the Bravo Instagrams, and Lindsay was like, he should be a gardener in his next life.
Oh, I think it was, totally.
He was planting seeds. He was like planting the seeds to make it seem like, oh, Lindsay was abusive. And
well, can I say I like Carl in a lot of ways, but not unlike one Tom Sandoval. Pins and batteries, dude. She wasn't having sex with me, dude. No, I was going to break up with her, dude. No, we went to therapy, dude. All of these things that never came to fruition. But with Carl, it's very interesting. We do have these film scenes where you're like, when you film a scene, like I try to explain to everybody, who's in the scenes, the crew shows up, you have a call time, the mom and the stepdad get mic'd up. It's not just, hey, let's see what comes up. Like they know there's going to be a conversation about the relationship.
Right.
They know that they're there to capture something. It's still real, but they know they're going to capture something, And by the way, anybody that can watch this season can see that these two people are not meant to be together.
Oh, it's amazing. Amazing that they ended up calling off the wedding. Like, mwah.
I mean, no, they really lucked out because imagine if they were married right now. That is not the person for Lindsay. And Lindsay is not the person for Carl. And I know that hurts probably because they did have a deep friendship in so many ways. And it's really shitty because to do this on national television, that's what I'm saying. Like you monetize your personal pain. And it really sucks because if you're in a relationship with somebody, you never would want this to be public. You would never want this to be public for people to like us, for like idiots like us to be talking about it. Like that just makes everything so much more worse. So much worse. Am I even making sense? Okay.
No, that does make sense.
Sorry, I'm just on so much meds right now that I can hear my voice echoing in my head.
Yeah, no, I mean like, yeah, it's sad. It's great that they ended up calling off the wedding because it's extremely obvious that they are completely incompatible. And it's interesting how the pendulum from one episode to another in terms of like whose side the viewers are on, because a couple weeks ago people were calling for Lindsay's head and kind of like rightfully so because she had from what the show showed us, from what we had seen and how she was handling Carl's weaponizing his sobriety against him. But now it's like, wait, Carl, like, come on, you're talking shit about her to literally everyone but her. Like, she feels like things are at a stabilized point.
I think she said that on Watch What Happens Live of like, it's wild to watch conversations that I wasn't a part of him talking about me. And that is really scary to like see your partner, because Lindsay wasn't clueless, but she was really in the clouds in a lot of her ways of thinking of like, well, I'm committed.
Blindsided. Like she kind of like, because at first we were like, there's no way you were blindsided. Like this obviously wasn't working, but it's like, she kind of thought things were okay at this point. And he was probably counting down. He was like, well, filming is going to stop at this time. And I feel like it needs to be on camera and blah, blah, blah. I don't know.
I think it's hard too, because it also intermixes like with the conversation about sobriety, and you don't want to ever like ruin the good work, the amazing work that Carl has done on himself in that sense. So you don't want to ever cause that's so important. And that's such a part of who he is and who he wants to be in the future. So it's like one thing to be like so wildly proud of somebody that you've seen like set a good example in that sense. But at the same time, it just shows how we all just make these real big messes. And then I do feel like at times he's using the TV show to get himself out of this mess that he has realized he put himself in. And if only Lindsay had said yes to a non-alcoholic bar, if only she had said yes, they would have been married. But it's like so funny. Like Lindsay, if you even like a lot of people have very strong feelings about Lindsay, but it's like, she's never not been that person from season one.
Exactly. She is who she is. And at least and it's not like she like necessarily owns it, because she doesn't love taking accountability, but she is, and you cannot argue with this. She is authentically herself.
That's the one thing I agree when I listen to interviews with her, read interviews. Like she's like, I get you know what people are saying, but it's like, Carl knows who I am.
Right.
Like Carl's best friend. Like he knows who I am. He knows So like this isn't a surprise to him how I am. If you think she's being overbearing to him, she's been that way from the jump. She's been that way even as a friend. Like
exactly.
It's very interesting.
He knew who he was proposing to. Moral of the story.
What do you think?
And also, how funny is it that, sorry to interrupt, but before I forget, that he was making fun of her for only being an influencer, only doing brand deals. Like, that's not a real job. But like, isn't that like your job also?
Well, it's like so meta because like you're also on a reality television show,
which is also kind of a job. Like,
yeah, I know. I like when we pretend we don't make money off the reality television show, but
yeah.
So the other big thing on Summer House was the Danielle Gabby with Balloon Guy Joe. And this is like one of those weird things where like I understand why people are upset about Danielle, but at the same time, Balloon Guy Joe was into Danielle. Like, you guys might not like Danielle. Like, Paige might not like Danielle. I get all of that stuff, but Danielle's always been this. Like, I like when people get upset at people for being the exact way they've always been. Danielle's always been this way. And I'm sorry, if Gabby isn't going to put herself in the race, then, like, Gabby's not going to hook up with Balloon Guy Joe.
Danielle definitely was, like, laying it on thick and saw it as a competition a little bit, which I can see why that would be very frustrating. The other thing is that I feel like Danielle, like, I would argue that this isn't how she's always been. I feel like, yeah, she's always been like kind of cringe and maybe like laying it on thick with guys. I don't know. It seems like she's going through it post Robert.
Well, yeah, exactly. But also, we've also always known her as Lindsay's ride or die. Like when she was on the show, and I felt like she was kept on the show because somebody needed to be Lindsay's friend because the rest of those girls in those house would like give her shit. Like they just didn't like mesh. So that's why and then Danielle kind of got more of a voice. And then she had that one season where she was like, ride or die friend. We all held her up on this pedestal of like, everybody needs a friend like Danielle. And then Danielle kind of got like Winter House and all this stuff. And like, it was like, oh shit. Like she can be a little messy in relationships. The Robert thing happened, all of this stuff, but it's kind of interesting to watch. So I think Danielle, I don't know. Danielle's just cracking me up. Like also, but I don't want to hear people of like Danielle let like Balloon Guy Joe hit it on the first night. Like, give me a break. Like all those Vanderpump guys hit it like on the first hour. Like, are you kidding me? Like, don't even like there should be the same rules for guys and girls. Like, nobody should be slut shaming Danielle for like, okay, are you kidding me? We celebrate it when the guys do it on Summer House. So I go, oh yeah, did you see him throw that thing over the camera? Good. Exactly. I could give a rip.
Exactly. I don't give a fuck about that. There are so many other things to criticize Danielle about.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean that I felt bad for Gabby and also like, where has Gabby been? This has been Gabby's like only like storyline the entire season, which I don't know. I don't know what that
I gotta tell you, I'm worried about. I really like Gabby a lot, but I'm just worried that she's not going to make it into the next season if it happens.
I've had the same thought because they had her like just not in any episodes for like several episodes in a row and nothing really like changed, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So
that's like super noticeable. But I will say that West has kind of given me the ick.
I will say it is interesting with the newbies. Everybody seems to have like reached a stasis level where they're coming back to Earth. And this next week's episode, we start to see that West is still talking to other girls, even though he's trying to woo Sierra. Now, I'm an idiot, but I know that that's probably not a good thing. And then you're bitching and moaning that Sierra's not having sex with you. Thank God she didn't have sex with you if that's what you're doing, right? Thank God.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I could like see why Sierra is holding out because he's like, oh, I like you. Like, you're my alien girlfriend. But like, what actual like serious conversations has he had with like his feelings for her? Because I haven't seen like, and they've apparently only been on like 2 real dates. Like, I can see why Sierra is holding out and I'm glad she is because she clearly like, she doesn't want to get hurt. She's been burned before and she clearly likes him a lot. And so like, that makes her nervous. And meanwhile, West is like, I'm just like,
I'm a warm-blooded man, dude.
Warm-blooded man.
God put this thing between my legs for a reason.
So yeah.
Well, West I like West a lot, but he just seems like the human personification of social media. Like he's just like that guy that's like, I'm going to say the quirky, funny thing. I'm going to dread. Like he's kind of like he just reminds me of social media. I don't even know a deeper thought than that, but just like, it's just very social media to me. He just reminds me of that guy that's like, I don't know. But I like him. I just have a feeling.
Gen Z, even though he's not.
Yeah, exactly. No,
which it like is,
and finally,
which is kind of a bad sign because that means that he's coming across as younger than he is.
Okay. Finally, Billie Eilish, you guys, is coming out with a new album, but she did a Rolling Stone interview this week that caused a lot of clicks where she talks about her sexuality. She says, I basically talk about sex anytime I possibly can. That's literally my favorite topic. My experience as a woman has been that it's seen in such a weird way. People are so uncomfortable talking about it and weirded out when women are comfortable in their sexuality and communicative about it. She talks about self-pleasure, how amazing it is. And then I'm trying to find the exact quote. Sorry. Where's the quote?
Wait, about how she masturbates in front of the mirror?
Well, that, and then the one that said, I finally realized that I want my face to be in a vagina.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, it's in the same.
I didn't read it. I was just going off of everything that was posted on social media, which was a lot.
Yeah, it was a great, like, she's so young, and this is so, like, this is just
let her say, like, embarrassing shit. Like,
oh yeah, here it is. I realized I wanted my face in a vagina. Like, I didn't know. It's just great because every generation needs this. She's so young. Like, you need to be brash like this. Okay, here it is. Okay. She told the magazine that she wrote some of the album before she had been with a woman, though she's been in love with girls for my whole life. Quote, but I just didn't understand until last year. I realized I wanted my face in a vagina. However, Eilish also expressed some frustration about her sexuality becoming a topic of discussion as she, quote, was never planning on talking about sexuality ever in a million years.
Well, yeah, you're talking about it now.
I don't think that quote's going to help anything, right? Like, that's a pretty on the nose quote. Taylor Swift is like, holy shit, do I have to talk about wanting my face in a vagina? Like,
oh my God. I saw that Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter surpassed. I don't even know what Taylor's like. What's like the biggest hit from her new album? Because I honestly don't even know. Not good.
Fortnite is Fortnite is the thing. Fortnite, yeah. But in terms of single, Sabrina Carpenter's Espresso, her like highest charting, streaming thing to date, big hit. But I will say Taylor Swift's album, one of her highest selling albums, 2.6 million in like the first week for the new album. But I don't even think, like, I've listened to it a couple times. I don't think it's filled with hits. I don't think it's like radio. They'll find singles to pull from it, but it's not. Anyway, it's going to be interesting. And Sabrina Carpenter opened up for Taylor in a lot of her tour, but then Sabrina Carpenter also, Kim Kardashian hired her to do a Skims campaign. So it's like the Kim of it all is very hysterical.
I think that. And not only the Skims campaign, but her surpassing Taylor on the charts. That's enough for Taylor to be like, nope. Competition.
I would like to think that Taylor has the highest charting album of her career. That I hope she doesn't care, but she probably does, right? She probably does care.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in less than a month. I'm going to be in overseas to see Taylor in concert.
Where are you seeing her?
My mind's blanking right now. Stockholm.
Oh my God, that's so fun. I'm jealous.
I've never seen her in concert. I'm so excited.
That's so fun. I was just talking shit about her, but I'm like, yeah, I'm jealous. Like, that's
listen, and guys, if you listen to the show, anybody that we talk shit about, it's like I still like them. Except for Tom Sandoval, but I genuinely but no, I'm so jazzed to be there. And Paramore's opening, which I'm excited about. Okay, guys, I gotta go sweat this out. I'm barely making any sense to myself. So, Sophie, thank you so much. And people listening, I'm so sorry that I didn't get to any messages about my birthday. Thank you so much for even giving a shit. Like how that makes and I will say, I was worried about this birthday because mom wasn't here. The first birthday without mom. And it being sick really helped with that. I didn't think about it really. I just thought about being sick. So it all turned out okay. So he goes, good.
Well, Ryan, we love you. And by we, I'm using the royal we. No. All of your listeners, sorry guys, the edible just hit again. All of can I pretend that I'm like super sick? But all of your listeners, your community, all the people you make smile and laugh every single day. We just love you so much. And that includes me.
I paid her to say that, folks, literally. But no, Sophie was like, for me and Joe Burrow, we'd like to say a happy birthday.
So, by the way, about Joe, so like his birthday, actually.
You know what's funny about your birthday? Joe has a birthday as well. Also, no, this is crazy. My dad, since I was like laid up, my dad went walking around the West Village and like was just like, I was like, go check out things. And he stopped into some like Yankees bar or something. I ended up talking with like an older couple, and then there was like no seats, and they put everybody together. And this one girl, the girl listens to the show. My dad like sent me a picture, goes, "This is one of your listeners." I was like, "No fucking way!" Could you? I thought I was like, I was like, "Is this like, am I delusional again?" But it was true. Like he was. I was like, I was blown away. And I was like,
God, "Don't." So cool.
I was like, "Don't say anything stupid, Dad, please." Anyways, Sophie, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to you guys. And hopefully we'll be back to a regular schedule this week and we'll catch up with everything. Okay. Bye guys.
Bye.
Bye, Sophie.